What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. Today I'm here to talk about Den of Thieves, which I was really surprised by. I thought it was going to be kind of like a DTV B action movie made for the big screen, and in a lot of ways it is, but it's much better than I ever expected it would be. The storyline follows Gerard Butler is kind of this renegade, wild card cop who's the leader of this, what was it called? Major Crimes Unit. So they're kind of like a branch of the police that kind of just for some mysterious reason they don't have to go by any rules and they can do whatever they want to. They're going head to head with basically the most elusive, effective crew of bank robbers in Los Angeles history. And caught in the middle is this guy who is kind of the getaway driver for the crooks, but he's also being shaken down by Gerard Butler and his guys. So there's a lot going on in the movie, and essentially it's just all leading to a showdown. The cops know that the robbers are targeting a bank. It's just a matter of which one, when's it going to happen, and is there going to be this epic showdown? Of course there is. And that's pretty much the movie. It's just the cops trying to stop the bad guys, but it becomes intensely personal between Gerard Butler and the guy who leads the bank robbers. His name is Pablo Schreiber, I believe. Anyway, this movie is, a lot of people are going to say that it's dumb. It's just a loud, brash, action movie. And that's kind of true. But at the same time, I just greatly appreciate it because it was absolutely like balls to the wall masculinity like we haven't seen since like the 80s action movies. I mean, this is all about gun porn. This is all about just like testosterone. The women in it have very minimal parts, which again is going to upset some people. But the guys in this movie are abusive, abrasive, selfish guys. They're not going to treat women with respect. They're not going to, kneel to their needs and demands. That's just not what kind of guys these are. So it makes sense the way that it's handled in the movie, even if you don't agree with it socially. I mean, we have to look at it as what the world of the movie has given us. The movie's got Gerard Butler, 50 Cent, Pablo Schreiber. It's got O'Shea Jackson Jr. It's got a pretty big cast, and everybody except for O'Shea Jackson Jr. looks like they're just ripped to the gills, just worn down and beat up by life. Basically, just hard ass dudes. Just big ripped muscle guys who could kill you with their bare hands, but instead choose to use high caliber, high impact guns to kill you instead. Like I said, the story is what it is. It's kind of basic, but I did appreciate that the movie takes the time to kind of flesh out the characters a little bit, especially by action movie standards. It kind of hinges on the two leaders of each side, and those are the guys that get most of the time. You get especially learn a lot about Gerard Butler, but you also get a lot of background on the criminals and some of the other people. So the movie runs 2.5 hours. And like I said, there is that little bit of exposition and there is the character development, but it never feels like the movie is like, okay, halt, and then let's go forward with the exposition and let's pick back up again. A lot of people complain that after the big action opening that the movie slows down for a long time before it kicks back up into action. But in truth, the movie, even if it doesn't have guns blazing and fights breaking out, it feels fast-paced and kinetic because these characters are so confrontational and disruptive. I mean, they're constantly after each other. So even if there's not car chases and shootouts, this never feels like a slow movie. It always feels like an action movie. These guys are just super, super aggressive, and that definitely powers through the exposition and the character development and kind of getting us from point A to point B. Never feels slow, never feels boring. And then when we finally get to the showdown, like, my God, it's glorious. Having just seen a bunch of movies that have big shootouts that just felt like really frail and weak, this one is just like guttural. Like, if you're a video game person, there are some games that just nail that feeling of, there's just that visceral tactile feeling of when a bullet is fired and when it hits, and this movie really gets that right. I mean, it just is a very, very high impact. I don't know how much of it was done digital and how much of it was done with like blank firing weapons, but if it was digital, they did a great job. I mean, the bloodshed is obviously digital at some points, but like the muzzle fire and just like it feels like the guns are being fired. Like, the sound design was absolutely insane. The final like showdown was just like, you felt like you were in the middle of this just wild, gigantic set piece. I mean, it was just really well done. Again, I'm sure some people will complain because it doesn't have, a super rich, complex storyline, and it kind of has a shifty ending, but I loved it. But I love testosterone-soaked action movies, so I had a lot of fun with this one. I really did like it. If you like action movies, or you just like just big tough guys measuring dicks, it's pretty much what this movie amounts to. But it's a lot of fun to watch. If you want to read a full write-up of Den of Thieves, you can check out my website, markfusion.com, for that. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. You can follow me on Letterboxd. I'm also on Patreon if you want to get exclusive content. All the income from Patreon goes directly into buying new movies to make new content, so there's no, I'm not buying gold-plated toilet seats or anything like that. But the best way you can support me, like I always say, is just hit that sub button. It's free, easy, and a direct way to support me and to help me to continue to make this content. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. And again, if you just like balls out, toxic masculinity action movies, Den of Thieves is badass. Definitely check it out. Thanks again, guys. Hopefully I'll see you soon.